In this video, we're going to talk about the benefits and the side effects of taking phenylalanine. What's up, my optimal minds? Dr. LeGrange here, and today we're going to be talking about what are the benefits of taking phenylalanine and what are the side effects maybe you should be concerned about that maybe you shouldn't be taking this. Now, if you're completely new to phenylalanine, well, guess what? It's something that I take on a regular basis for my ADHD, and it really does help a lot. Now, other than ADHD, there's definitely lots of other benefits, but let's dive down. What is phenylalanine? Why is it something important? We got to look at the science of why it benefits us possibly. Now, this isn't for everybody, but it could be beneficial. Now, when we talk about phenylalanine, usually typically in supplement form, you're going to see dl-phenylalanine. And the reason why is because there's two forms of phenylalanine. Phenylalanine is an amino acid, but there's a d-phenylalanine and there's an l-phenylalanine. Now, d-phenylalanine, usually there's not much understanding of what it does particularly to the body. There's some, theories behind what it does, and it isn't really essential for the body. But l-phenylalanine is essential because l-phenylalanine is what helps build and actually make tyrosine. And tyrosine is important for a lot of different things in our body, but more specifically, l-phenylalanine and just phenylalanine in general does help build dopamine and helping with that type of neurotransmitter. When we break down the science of phenylalanine specifically, it is broken down to something like I said, tyrosine. So tyrosine also is broken down to L-dopa, and then L-dopa is what helps build dopamine. And dopamine is an important neurotransmitter in our body for helping us be motivated, to help us to learn more, to have better memory, and in a way can help us with focus. But taking it an even step further, phenylalanine is you think about it as kind of the beginning block, building block of all these different types of neurotransmitters. Because after dopamine, we have norepinephrine and epinephrine, which are very essential for managing our stress. When we are too stressed, we aren't going to be able to be focused, and it's going to be difficult to retain information if we're really stressed out if we do not have the right types of amino acids when we're consuming in our diet. So why would you maybe need to take this? Well, probably because your diet sucks. Let's just be honest. A lot of people's diets do suck, so they will equate to trying to take a supplement, but that might be helping you. But honestly, food should be your medicine. You should be doing your best to try to using food. So phenylalanine does come from a lot of proteins, cheese, eggs, a lot of our different proteins that we get on a regular basis, but some people just don't get enough of the good high quality proteins in their diet, and that's something you should be striving for. But looking at what the research says, they have found some evidences of phenylalanine being beneficial. For example, I mentioned already one, ADHD. That's something that I use specifically for my ADHD because I did some testing and found that my PA levels, which is also something that does phenylalanine help build, tend to be low. When I ran those tests, those were low, and that's why I do supplement it and do find that it can be beneficial. But other than ADHD, what they have found that phenylalanine through the research is that when they did a study of supplementing about 200 milligrams of phenylalanine, they did find that people who were depressed actually reduced their depressive symptoms over a couple months' time and were not depressed anymore. Now, they didn't do a follow-up study to see if they continued. I would like to know that, is if they continue with the phenylalanine, if they also continue not having the depressive symptoms. The possibility can help with depression. Other possibilities of what it can help with is anxiety. They've seen that in research, and then also Parkinson's disease, except the research is a little vague on that when it comes to supplementing phenylalanine. But if you think about it, phenylalanine, because usually with Parkinson's disease, there's a dopamine issue, and phenylalanine helps with dopamine. So in all, really, if you think about it, phenylalanine is just to help you with focus, memory, because of what we talked about before, as you break it down to helping those particular neurotransmitters. But what are the benefits that I have found by taking phenylalanine? For me, what I have found when I take it, usually I will take it first thing in the morning and sometimes midday. And I find that it does help me be a little bit more motivated. It kind of helps me to have that initial trigger of willpower to get things started right away. But also sometimes it does help me be a little bit more focused. I notice when I don't take it for long periods of time, these things start to suffer. Now, is it the big magic pill that, oh my goodness, I have the most magical brain now? No, but it definitely does help with those subtle symptoms that I experience on a daily basis having ADHD. So it's definitely something to consider about. Now, let's talk about the side effects. These are things that you need to be a little bit cautious. Most cases, phenylalanine is okay for most people, but there is always people who are a little bit more sensitive when they're taking supplements. So when I'm working with my patients and clients, there can be possible of nausea, headaches, there's a possibility of constipation, digestive complaints, upset stomach. These are things that could be possibly even fatigue and anxiety can be associated with taking taking phenylalanine. So if that is in your case, it's probably because you do not need it. That's the problem, is a lot of people will try different supplements, but you probably don't need it because your body has a sufficient amount. In fact, you don't want to have too much phenylalanine, especially if you have too much in your diet already to begin with. You shouldn't be supplementing it. And the big two no-nos that should not be taking it, especially if you're pregnant, should not be taking it, and if you have schizophrenia. They found that this can interact with definitely a lot of different medications for schizophrenia, but even if you're taking medications of depression, there's some possibility of phenylalanine interacting with building up tyramine, which can be a problem of increasing heart rate levels. So you got to be a little careful when you're taking certain medications, and this is when you should always be checking with your doctor first. The other thing we got to discuss is, okay, how much should you be taking? When should you be taking that? Well, watch this video right here and join me right here where I break that all down of how much you should be taking, the dosages, if it's something you should be taking, as well as when you should be taking it. So join me right here. I'll see you there. Thanks.